picking support again, and I'm going to join my tank buddies. Now, a lot of people don't know how to use these tanks. I swear to you, they don't. I'm not being rude about it. They just don't understand them. They'll rush the tank in there. They'll get blown up by a couple little wee landmines. It only takes like 2 landmines to blow one up. Or basically like a rocket and 5 tank grenades. And this guy's busy destroying our only known...
Enemy medic sighted!
He's busy destroying our very own, structures that we're going to use to get close and personal with these guys. He's like, oh yeah, this is fun. Good stuff. I love charging the battle with half a brain. And now this is where the repair kit comes in. You can almost stand toe-to-toe with another tank and be able to defeat it. The other problem with getting these things is getting people that want to man the guns. That's the other problem. Getting people to man the guns. Doesn't sound like a big deal. It's a big deal because a lot of times people can't hack it. They're like in the thing, the gunner, he's too busy rushing forward, and they do all sorts of silly things. They'll back up in the corners that you don't want to be in, and they're gonna get you killed. These guys will get you killed every time. I don't know how long that tank's gonna last. It says we only have one thing to go, but we're gonna find out real soon how well we do. This isn't telegraphs, so I almost feel like we should have had it. But again, we're gonna lose the tank in a matter of minutes, and it's all because these tank guys think that the tank is like crazy tough. It's not. In fact, I'm not going to sit here and give you a history lesson because I don't think games are the best history lessons in the world to have. But when they first made the first tanks, you could shoot through them with a pistol. So if they were going off of using that type of, they interviewed anybody and they talked about it, they'd be like, oh yeah, tanks, they're like giant cheese boxes that you threw guys in to die later because they were too, like all things the government does. It's like, oh, we're just a bunch of pricks, and we don't mind a bunch of our teams dying because it's all for the greater good. Okay, so we lost 2 tanks. 2 tanks gone. There went the, I would say the element of surprise, but it was no surprise because I knew that was going to happen. Did it get us close to it? Sorta. Sorta. If you call that close. If you call that getting close to the enemy, being 20 feet away, and then still having nearly every available unit and squad on demand, then, well, that was strategic genius. Okay, I tried to get a tank. I couldn't get it. Also, this is something I did not know. You can actually pick different variations of the tank. There's tank land ship, which, as you can see, it has 2 cannons on the sides and a strong gun in the front, and then you got the mortar land ship, which I think is one of the best. I mean, you get like 5 mortars. It doesn't take any time to focus in. It's not like a regular mortar. It just focuses in. It's like a laser beam. Bam, bam, bam. Then you got the 2 cannons on the sides, and you got 2 machine guns on the side of that. You can smoke screen, track repair, which you need this thing here, a gas emitter. Sorry, tripping up on my own English. And then you got emergency repair. The gas emitter, I would say if you're in the thick of it, yeah, sure, that's great. You can use that. I like this one too. I love vehicles that have a purpose with the infantry. I don't know why. I just do. I like the idea that you can drop supplies of ammo and medical supplies and have your teammates follow behind you. If you get the right type of people, you can really rip it up. But I'm going to go with mortar because that's the one I like. And I'm not going to get it. They already took both the tanks. But these guys are busy driving these things into oblivion. This guy might actually have a different approach. He's actually using it from afar. And I don't know what type he has, but he's doing a pretty good job at it. He's approaching slowly. If we can get in line with that trench, he has the flak gun on the front of it, which means he probably has the one that you can drop ammo, which is cool. But that flak gun is really devastating to infantry. I like reloading whenever I get a chance, because you only get 6 shots with this, and that one shot means a man dead. Okay, I feel certain we're going to get this one. That was a pretty good strategy this time with the tanks. And it's good for infantry. I don't think that the cannon, the heavy cannon, is bad for infantry, because you can, if there's a bunch of them, or they're behind something or whatever, you have a better chance of getting a kill. But if it's like walking up to them, a lot of times the shell will pass them. And this one here acts like a shotgun, so it covers. You can see the reticle is way bigger. At distance, though, I don't think they're all that impressive. Let's get out of here and try to help these guys repair up, because you can, if you're inside the tank and you're repairing, as soon as you get hit by an explosive or something like that, it stops repair. But if you're a engineer guy and you're repairing, well, that's a different story. Now, this is where I like to use the tank heavy gun, because you're hitting into a bunch of vehicles, and spot those guys. Spot everyone that you can, because the more guys you spot, it gives your ground troops that are out there dealing with the actual problem a lot more info about what's going on over there. They're not left in the dark like a bunch of, you know, that stinks being just left in the dark with nothing else to think about. But, oh, where's the enemy? Hopefully this water isn't too deep. Okay. 3, 4, like I said, you want to repair as much, or get that ammo back up as much as you can. That should have been a tank, a shotgun blast. We can get out of here, see if I can't repair this guy. He can almost stand, like I said, he can stand pretty well if you have someone healing at the same time. They can take quite a bit of force. If he'd stop and face those guys and start fighting them, I feel certain we could probably change the battle here. It'll take a beating. Okay. Too much on us. Too much attention. Sometimes it's good to bunch your tanks up. You can have tanks cover tanks. Good ideas. And, yeah, so let's see here. Alright, we've got another tank. I'm going to join it, because that's what I want to do. I want to be that support guy. Now, hopefully this guy stops. I'm hoping he stops. We're already taking hits by assault rocket guns. And the other thing you gotta remember, whenever he turns off to the side like that, he's limiting the amount of guns he can bring to bear. Whenever you limit the amount of guns you can bring to bear, well, you're just gonna cause problems. And a field gun. Bam. Done. That's how easy they are. If he would have played it a little safer and maybe approached at a different angle, anything but charging head on. Okay, we don't got any tanks. Probably not going to see one. Looks like we're getting in close with these guys. I also like changing the weapon when I'm in those things. I normally like to pick close weapons, because I'm trying to repair stuff, and a lot of times you're dealing with guys throwing grenades. They're throwing grenades because they're going to hide from cover, and they're just going to blow the bejesus out of you with a tank or a grenade. Why should they risk showing themselves off? You know, it's not like a contest of who's the bigger man. A lot of times you can change the tide of a battle having less guys. And I think that's what we're going to do right here. Right there, resupply, guys. You might as well. We're all sitting here.
We have secured the sector.
Now, aiming down the sights with this gun isn't quite the greatest thing in the world. Hopefully these guys are smart enough to come back here and get resupplied up, but they're charging on. Sometimes it's better to charge on. You know, instead of getting bogged down with all the nerdy-gurdy stuff. I really should have changed my repair kit, especially if I'm going to go into battle. That was a stupidity move on my part. Ah, I can't believe I didn't get him. I got most of them, but not enough of them. And thank goodness for these medics. You know, medics are a big deal. They keep you from using up all those guys, and that way you have reinforcements to spare. Gas grenades are great, but at the same time, they're just gas grenades. Yet you're not going to stop people from charging something. I would say if you really want to stop someone from getting in somewhere, dynamite's great, although I am terrible at using it. But flame, you can't move through flame no matter how much you try. It just doesn't work. You can't charge it. This gas, you can just, I mean, you don't just limit the enemy whenever you're doing gas. You limit yourself also. So it's not like you're really being super impressive with gas. Yeah, it's a good tactic. But all in all, I mean, when you're close in fighting, it's not gonna matter. The gas is good, but it's not that great.
50 of our soldiers remain.
It does miscombobulate you, I'll give you that, but for sure it doesn't stop. It doesn't help you either. But don't get me wrong, it's a good idea because it forces people to not be able to look down their scope, which is again why I like using smoke grenades on snipers. They can't see down their scope, they can't kill you, especially if they're good snipers, because there's a lot of people in here. Well, actually I should say more than enough people in here that are like, oh, I'm a sniper, and it's like, you're not that good. Oh, I did it again. I'm gonna go back and join the tank.
We have
You
lost
ride.
one more.
One of our objectives! He's been seized, lad!
Okay, here we go. Now we can pull up the map here, which is a good idea to see where the enemies are. They seem to be at B. I don't know where I'm shooting at B. That kind of stinks. But this guy here, he does need to move forward. But he is using the mortar. If you look at that, he's using the mortar. He's bashing those positions and giving us our guys that needed protection that, you know, help get these guys to back off a little bit. Always spot guys where you can.
Enemy medic!
This gun shoots way too slow. Oh, we're taking some hit there.
Grenade! Watch it!
Ah. No, help me out. One thing I can't stand is when everyone bails out of a tank. Okay? Don't hand the enemy a tank. Dumbest thing, let it blow up. You give it to the enemy, they're going to repair it if they're smart enough, and they're going to turn against you. Also, you're giving up a spawning point. That spawning point gets you closer to your objective, means you don't have to lose many men getting to it. I like this mode, and at the same time I don't like this mode. I really like the front lines. Very little people play it. A lot more people are on Conquest. I love Conquest, don't get me wrong. I like being able to mix it up and use different vehicles and things like that. I don't mind like Team Deathmatch and Pigeons. Pigeons is actually a fun game. It's almost like that game you used to play, Smear the Queer. Some people might call it something else, but we always call it that.
Machine gun.
Alright, now would be a good time to get out of this. Ah. Well, too late. Oh, these guys are like on the ball here. They're not letting us even get forward. Jeez. Okay, now you can see how the battle's going here. Let's look at the map, shall we? Notice that all the guys are
We have
packed in
taken
one
objective
area.
Alpha.
Where do you think the enemy's going to be most concentrated? Where everyone's packed at. So let's not stop that from happening. Let's change up where we're going to go with these enemies. Let's make them spread out. Don't give them an easy thing to do. I've seen so many games where everyone got packed up on one thing and the enemy was just like, okay, well, you're going over here, huh? So instead of making them move their guys, we didn't. You know, we just like sat there like a bunch of bumps on the log. Now I'm going to try and split them up. I'm going to drag guys over here to get me,
We are
and hopefully
losing
that's enough
objective
to
Alpha.
grab the attention. So let's look at the map again. Okay, we got a bunch of guys on B. We're losing A, but we're grabbing C. Maybe we can get some guys to join us. I don't know.
What's our order, Sergeant?
Oi! Got him by luck. That was luck on my part. But I did help us almost capture it. I didn't keep it. I needed more guys to join me. Maybe they weren't dying and seeing that, or maybe they were focused on doing this. You know, when you focus on something and the other team's doing the same thing, it's pretty much like a war of who's better. Well, I know I'm not the better player. That's a given. I know I'm not a better player. Oh, jeez. Yeah, if anyone's ever watched me play, I'm not the best player. I know guys that I've played with that have been better players. But a lot of times it can come down to strategy.
We have taken objective apples.
Okay. Let me see what's going on here. We're gonna hold B for now.
Objective.
Jeez, that didn't take long. Medics would be a good idea right about now. We only got 100 guys left. And he just... I think that guy charged him and missed. I can't tell you how many times that happens to
We
me.
are losing objective butter.
We're losing butter. I told us to actually cover that spot, but we're not doing a very good job at it. Oh boy.
You're injured, I can help.
Okay. Let's hope that we can get out of here. And like I said, spot your enemies because
Watch it.
if they see them, they're going to help out a lot. We're going after C, guys. Oh, we got it. Okay, good job. Good job, people.
If British might was
Yeah,
ever
I
in
can't
doubt,
tell you how many times I've
today
seen
put those stories to rest.
an enemy or a bunch of guys attack an objective. There being more than one objective, and they just bottleneck at that one spot instead of going around flanking. You gotta flank. If you don't flank, like I said, you're just looking for who's the better player. Well, I know I'm not the better player, but if you can pull their attention away from it, you can cause confusion. You can open up different spawn points on the map and help your team out. Everyone, it's not Call of Duty. It's not all about KD. I can't stand people that are like, oh, KD, that's the only thing that matters to me. Look how many kills I got. And it's like, we've lost every game today. Thank goodness that you got your KD up. It was quite amazing. And even though I know I didn't do much in that game, you can tell by my kills and my deaths, I was not that great, but I helped a lot by doing stuff, repairing tanks and just doing my general job.